Welcome to Christian Podcast. This is where we look at the world and our own lives through a Christian lens. Today we're taking a deep dive into something called time as sacrifice, the love that lingers.
Ooh.
We're really going to try and unpack the profound meaning of time, not just the clock ticking, but how it fundamentally shapes our human connections and maybe even echoes a divine kind of love.
Indeed. And the source material we're looking at really invites us to shift our whole perspective on time. It's arguing it's not merely hours and minutes just slipping by.
Right.
It's presented as this unique gift, something bestowed upon life by the Creator. So the challenge really is to think about the meaning we pour into our time, not just how fast it disappears.
That's such a key distinction, isn't it? Especially when our days can feel like such a blur. And the discussion starts right off with a powerful reminder from Ephesians 5, verses 15 to 18. It says, "See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Therefore do not be unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is." Okay, so what does that actually mean for us? Walk circumspectly, redeeming the time.
Well, walking circumspectly, it means living with real care, with intention, precision even, always being mindful of the spiritual landscape around us. It's about making deliberate choices, especially with our most precious resource, time.
Oh, yeah.
And when we talk about redeeming the time, our source really emphasizes something specific. It says when someone who truly values their time chooses to pause for you.
Pause. Like actually stop.
Exactly. Truly stop their hurried pace. It's framed as never being just a casual thing. It's described quite powerfully as a sincere offering, a sacrifice of their life's precious moments. And that just radically shifts how we should see time in our connections with people.
Wow. A sacrifice of their life of precious moments. I'm really struck by that phrase because let's be honest, in our digital age, attention feels like the rarest thing there is. The source points out, most online content, its lifespan is just a few seconds. We're all doing it right, swiping fast, making instant judgments, just on to the next thing. So how does this idea of a deliberate pause fit in or maybe push back against that when we're constantly pulled everywhere?
Yeah, it creates this really profound contrast. Our source puts this, fleeting digital engagement right next to biblical wisdom, specifically Romans 12:11, which tells us to be not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord.
Fervent in spirit.
Yes. And the text argues that this fervor, this passionate diligence, it absolutely should extend to our interactions. So in the digital world, that means going way beyond just superficial clicks or quick glances. It means actively choosing not to be, slothful with someone's presence, even if it's virtual.
Huh. So, okay, if someone actually spends, say, dozens of seconds on something you wrote online, like really reading it word by word, trying to get what you're thinking, that's not just casual. That's actually a huge deal, an act of that fervor.
Exactly right. It goes way beyond just the information being exchanged. Our source makes this powerful comparison to Jesus stopping to listen to the Samaritan woman. Remember, in the wilderness. He went so far beyond just a quick, perfunctory chat. He paused, he entered her life, listened sincerely. And that kind of intentional pause, it communicates something really deep. It says, I value what you have to say, yes, but even more, I value you, your existence.
That's powerful.
And this intentional pause has such a significant impact on the depth, the sincerity of our relational time, especially now in our fast digital world. It can turn a fleeting interaction into genuine connection.
It's really remarkable how this intentionality with time keeps coming up. And the source then takes us even further back, doesn't it, to this deep reverence for time in ancient wisdom, specifically the Jewish tradition. And this next point, honestly, it really reframed things for me. Get this. They consider wasting someone else's time, basically like stealing.
That's right. And it connects so powerfully with the commandment, you shall not steal.
Wow.
For them, time is truly the raw material of life itself, considered even more precious in some ways than money. The source even quotes Romans 13:8, owe no man anything but to love one another. And the implication drawn is that owing someone their time, that's like owing them their very life, their love.
Like them in their life.
Yeah. Their perspective is that real wisdom is about cherishing our own time, sure, but also deeply respecting the time of others. It really brings home why time is seen as this unique, almost sacred gift.
So how does that incredible respect for time actually, show up? In their daily lives or maybe social gatherings? Because often, let's face it, social gatherings can feel like places for casual chat, sometimes even just meaningless noise.
Well, their approach is described as being starkly different from vanity or superficiality, instead of what the source calls these empty show social events where, quote, time evaporates in meaningless chatter.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Right. The Jewish perspective it highlights emphasizes sharing lives, often over slow-paced, intentional dinners. It's not about being fancy or extravagant. It's about a walking together of hearts. Like Amos 3.3 says, can two walk together except they be agreed? It's this mutual giving of time aimed at building real understanding and connection, not just filling silence.
That really defines it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How authentic connection truly happens and how different it is from just surface level stuff. It's not about the big gestures. It's about genuinely saying, I'm willing to share the most precious, non-renewable thing I have, my life's time with you. And our source connects us right back to that core biblical idea, love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
It feels like an incredibly practical way biblical wisdom can guide us to truly honor and redeem shared time, allowing that time to actually bear fruit in our relationships.
Exactly. And this leads us quite naturally to the absolute core essence of love as it's presented in the text, self-sacrifice. The scripture passage, John 15:18, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends, is just central to grasping this. The essence of love really involves this kind of giving.
Okay, so laying down life. If it's not always about some grand, heroic, one-off act, what does it mean for us, like day to day? How does that actually entail us living it out?
Well, it means making space for others, consciously giving up our own time, maybe even our immediate desires or plans. Think about that person who sets aside, say, half an hour to really truly listen when you're feeling lost or confused. Or someone who carefully considers your words, mulls them over, and offers thoughtful suggestions, not just quick fixes. They are sacrificing their time in that moment. They are essentially telling you, you, right now, are more important than my unfinished work or the unread messages piling up or whatever I wanted to do next.
Right, that makes sense.
This daily act of self-giving, of choosing to prioritize someone else's need over our own immediate convenience or efficiency, that truly defines what laying down life entails day to day. This is what the Bible means when it defines love in action.
It's striking how that simple, everyday generosity, the giving of time, it actually mirrors the foundational principle of God's love itself. It's not just a nice gesture, is it? It's deeper.
Not at all. It's presented as being of the very same nature as God's love in sending Jesus Christ. Philippians 2.7 tells us, Jesus made himself of no reputation and took upon him the form of a servant. He spent time here on earth, sharing in human suffering, just being with us.
Yeah.
That's how God's love is sacrificial. It's in the giving of himself, his time, his presence. So therefore, when someone pauses for you in that really profound way we've been discussing, it's not just a moment passing. It's described as a love that echoes the very love of God. This deep meaning is presented as the true essence of love. And it shows how true connection really differs from just superficial contact.
Okay, so given all this depth, how do we figure out what's truly meaningful in our lives and our connections? How do we apply this kind of wisdom when there's just constant noise around us?
Yeah, that's the challenge. Our source really urges us to cultivate discernment, to learn to recognize which interactions are just, smoke in the wind, fleeting, insubstantial, and which pauses, which moments of given time are truly imperishable crowns.
Imperishable crowns, I like that.
It emphasizes that genuine, true connection, the kind that lasts. It isn't found in superficial places, these houses of pleasure, as it calls them, but rather in those interactions that actually make us think, that build each other up.
Yeah.
May we all learn to see that difference.
And that powerful concluding thought from the source, it really drives it home for me. It says, treasure the person who is willing to waste. And I love that word here, waste a few dozen seconds or maybe half an hour for you. Because what they're offering is never just time. It's the most sincere tribute one life can pay to another. This, as the Bible says, is the living embodiment of love is patient, love is kind. 1 Corinthians 13.4, right? This is what redeeming the time truly looks like in practice. So we've just explored how valuing time as a sacrifice, it really does transform our human connections and how it can even mirror divine love. We've thought about how our digital lives impact the depth of our relational time and how that ancient biblical wisdom can genuinely guide us to honor and redeem the moments we share. The incredible significance of the pause has become so clear. It's this profound act of love. And we've seen that laying down life daily often means giving our most precious gift, our time.
Yes, this deep dive has really laid bare that love's core essence truly is self-sacrifice and that real, authentic connection. It happens when we actually value another person's existence more than our own fleeting distractions.
So as you go about your day, maybe your week, here's something to consider. In what moments, maybe big, maybe small, can you offer an imperishable crown of your time to someone in your life? Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.